Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everybody is well and having a wonderful, wonderful week. Been a busy week for me, especially at work. And we're back again with another preview to another game, another Arsenal preview. And it's a big one. It is a big, big game. Make no mistake about it. Probably the biggest game of our season. Revenge. Can we get revenge against Olympiacos? It's going to be certainly much needed. And I'm joined by a special guest today as well. And I'm going to get him on in just a little while. I am also going to be joined by my other guest as well at some point, hopefully. But for now, it's just me and Tom. And we're going to get straight into it. But before we get into that, I've just got to have a rant. I've got to have a rant. People who follow me on Twitter would have seen that today I have had a rant about Arsenal. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about the new training kit. It's lovely, isn't it? It's brilliant. It's a nice kit. But we are 10th. We are out of every single domestic competition, and we have just the Europa League left to maybe salvage something this season. And they're bringing out a new kit. The ninth kit this season. Embarrassing. Yeah? I'm calling out Arsenal Football Club for it. Do you actually care about the fans? Yeah? It seems to me like you're not even bothered about what's going on the pitch. Yeah? As long as you're making a few quid, quick few quid. And you're taking advantage of the fans. You know that fans around the world are going to buy this kit. Is there any need to release 9 in a season? Especially a season where it's been one of our poorest ever. And fans like myself and some other fans as well are mad about this because as nice as this kit is, how about you go and spend some of our money on some better fucking players rather than buying kits and chucking them out to fans for 50, 60 quid a pop? Joke. Absolute joke. And the fact that all this is going on while we're sat 10th in the league out of every domestic cup competition ever, and we still got wallads like Granit Xhaka playing for us, and we are going to touch on the Burnley game a little bit. It's a joke. And I'm going to bring my guest in because I want to know how he feels on this situation as well. So, please, guys, welcome back to Tom. How are we doing, Tom?
How you doing, mate? I'm all right. How are yourself? How about yourself, mate?
Not so bad. I had to get it off my chest, though, man. Because I don't know how you feel about it, but 9 kit releases this season. We're sat 10th in the league out of every domestic cup competition. And it seems to me like the football club doesn't really care about what's going on the pitch as long as they can make a few quid out of the fans. And you got fans or global fan base that will go out and spend money and buy that kit because it is a nice kit. But what will we actually get in return for that? Will we actually see some proper signings in the summer? I doubt it. I mean, how do you feel about it, mate? I mean,
mate, it's another kit, innit? It's how many times have they got to do this? I think you finally get yourself up to date. You've got the home kit, the away kit, and the third kit, and then all of a sudden they bring out another kit. I'm losing count, mate. And the fact is that we're not we 10th in a position at the moment in terms of the league, which is just not good enough. Well, the way we're bringing kits out at the moment, it's almost like we've won the Champions League, we've won every cup there is out there to win. It's a bloody nightmare, mate. It's a bloody nightmare. Oh, I think we've lost him. Guys. So, there you go. You're back. We lost you there for a minute, buddy.
It's all good. No, I've worked out now that when someone's talking, you can put them in a solo layout, so they become the big screen. And
Fair
yeah,
enough. Fair
it just looks loads better than me sitting here going, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. We all look like nodding dogs, don't we? We're just sitting there like this every 5 minutes. But no, that's cool.
Exactly.
But mate, in terms of the kit, it's something else for us Arsenal fans to moan about. I mean, if they're trying to pick us up in terms of boosting us and making us feel better, they're definitely going the wrong way about it. However, I will say it is pretty bloody nice.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It is a nice kit. And yeah, but that's all it is. It means nothing. To me, I see that as we're just trying. We're running Arsenal like a business. We know Arsenal run like a business anyway. But it seems that in recent times, especially since Stans took complete ownership of Arsenal, it is just a business. It's not even a football club anymore. It's more of a business than what it is anything else. And I know, of course, we have contracts with Adidas and we have to adhere to that. But 9 kits in one season, like 40,
Yeah.
50 quid a pop. You imagine, for example, if every single Arsenal fan brought all 9 of them kits, that's nearly, well, it's nearly £500 each.
It's a joke. It's like, to give you an idea, obviously you've got a little one, I've got a little boy as well, and you try and wow them by getting them some of the kits. And did you see the limited edition one? The Pharrell
Yes.
Williams one. Yeah, so I can't stand it, if I'm honest. My little boy loved it. So I think it was for his birthday, or I think it was Christmas, I bought him that kit. Now he is 6 years old. He was 5 years old at the time. And just for that kit, I think it cost me 60 quid just for the shirt. It's like, are you having a laugh? I mean, I'm the mug that paid it, but it's just beyond a joke now. I remember growing up, and I sound really old now, mate. And my mum and my dad, they said to me, it's ridiculous. These kits are 40 quid. Well, now you're looking at 60 quid. And, you've even got the official ones for 100 quid. I mean, there's got to be some sort of cut-off point, because by the time your little one and my little one gets older, it's going to be 100 quid a kit. It's a joke, isn't it? Or a top.
Exactly, mate. And it used to be back in the day where you'd have one kit for 2 seasons and then a new kit would come out, and
Yeah.
it would sort of alternate, wouldn't it? And now it's like we've got kits coming out of our ear holes, but in terms
Yeah.
of kits, we've nearly got as many kits this season as we have wins. It's mad.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it.
And yeah, it's slightly embarrassing, and the problem is with all this PR and stuff like that Arsenal do, you will get fans out there, especially abroad fans, people who live abroad, i.e., America and stuff like that, who will go out and they'll spend money on that kit. But it's kind of like the fans just we don't matter anymore. We're just paying customers, and that's it,
Yeah.
And I don't know, mate. I don't want to talk about it too much because it's actually really annoying and starting to wind me up a little bit, because it's like, okay, if you can hand out 9 kits in a season, if every Arsenal fan brought that, for example, that's, it's 400 quid per person for all 9 kits. So that means you can afford to go out and buy me some proper players now.
Yeah.
I don't want to see David Luiz getting a new contract. I don't want to see us go and sign another Chelsea reject who's passed it. I want to see some proper players at this football club wearing that kit. And then maybe I'll go out and spend a bit of money and buy it. But until then,
exactly.
not happening.
Yeah, well, listen, I've just seen Jamie in the comments there. Big up to you too, my man. I want to shout him out because I'll do a little shout out for you, Jamie, on Matchday Vibes tomorrow. But I did notice, it didn't go unnoticed. You said 1-1 against Burnley at the weekend. You got that score right, mate. So massive well done to you, buddy. I thought I'd say a little done, mate.
That's shout out to Jamie, and that brings us into our next segment. Of course, how could we go an entire show without talking about the weekend's game? 1-1 against Burnley. That's 4 points that Burnley have taken off of Arsenal this season. Granit Xhaka at fault in both games as well. Because if you remember rightly, the first game, he got himself sent off for grabbing, I can't remember who it was now, but grabbing somebody by the throat. And then, of course, at the weekend, that horrendous mistake. As you know, Tom, I've already told you this. I phoned Tom on the way home from work because I was at work on Saturday morning. It's not very often that I work on a Saturday morning, but I was at work in this particular one. I missed most of the first half, and I thought, right, I've just finished work. I'm sat in the car. I'm trying to find a place where I can sort of sit my phone and drive at the same time without it being too noticeable, so I could sort of flick over and look at the game as I'm driving along. And I tune in about 2 minutes. Maybe it might have even been less than that. It was about 30 seconds before that Granit Xhaka mistake. And honestly, what did you make of the game as a whole, mate?
Yeah, I think here's the thing, mate. So like, we do the show and then we do the fan cam straight after the game, and you're heated, you're a bit frustrated, and I'll be honest, I'll put my hands up. You're not always right straight away. You have to watch these things back. And for me, although I was trying to think about, play devil's advocate and say, look, possibly could we look at Murray being at fault? Could we look at Leno being at fault? But it has to really come down to Xhaka for that. It was bloody awful. But in terms of the game, mate, it was just an absolute anticlimax. I mean, the first 5-10 minutes, you think we're on it. We're the Arsenal we want to see. But, we don't capitalise on that. And how many times have we seen that? We've seen it against Leicester. We came back with no points after that. Time and time again this season. And it just frustrates me. We should have been 3-0 up minimum and at half time, but we're not. And the fact is, we go there and we're thinking, I don't know about you, mate, but I felt like we lost that game, but we still got a point, but we should have bloody won it. So yeah, I'm hacked off by that. And I thought it was an absolutely terrible game. Thomas Partey, I mean, he's meant to be our big money signing. Second half, he's giving balls away left, right and centre. I wasn't impressed by that. It just wasn't the Arsenal we need and the Arsenal that we once believed in.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It did feel like a loss in the end. I unfortunately didn't see the first 10 minutes, so I can't really comment on that. I see the highlights.
Bit, mate.
I missed the best bit, But as the saying always goes, the game, it lasts 90 minutes, not 10 minutes. And Arsenal need to start learning that, because too many times this season, it's nice to hear that Arsenal actually started quick, because too many times this season we've let a first half just pass us by and got ourselves in a bit of a mess, and then relied upon a second half performance to dig ourselves out of that. But it's nice to hear that at least for 10 minutes, it was the Arsenal we wanted to see. But I suppose when you've got clowns that play for the football club, players that are not good enough to be here, players that are just, should be surplus to requirements come the summer, you're going to get mistakes happen. And that's exactly what happens. How many times has Granit Xhaka cost us points now? I think that's the 8th mistake that he's made leading to a goal since he's been at Arsenal. It's mad. It's mad. And yet he still plays week in, week out. I'm not just blaming Arteta for that either, because he used to play week in, week out under Emery and under Arsene Wenger. So clearly these managers who manage our football club see something in Granit Xhaka that nobody else does. But he doesn't help himself either, because he comes out in the press and he says, "Oh, I do my talking on the pitch," and he chats so much crap and throws shade at the fans as well, and people who have been hating on him and stuff like that. And then he puts in that sort of performance, and you think, well, it's justified, mate. Go and prove us wrong, and we'll say, okay, Granit Xhaka, we hold our hands up. You've proved us wrong. But until that happens, which it won't ever happen, we're justified in criticising him. And that first goal in particular, this is what I can't understand, right? I watched the first goal back, and it was a similar sort of situation. Thomas Partey come back, collected the ball from Bernd Leno, but the difference is Thomas Partey knows his surroundings. He has that extra quality. He knows what he wants to do with the ball before he's even got it.
Yeah.
And that kind of playing out from the back, that's when it works, and it looks good when it works. But my question is why is Granit Xhaka going back to collect the ball anyway? Is that an instruction by Arteta, do you think, or do you think it's just he's just that brain dead and he seems to think he's like some sort of Iniesta, Xavi type player, when in actual fact he's really not?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? I said a similar thing to you, mate, as well. I said, why on earth is he back in that position? I think if we go back to the start of the season when we were playing with sort of five at the back, sort of our wing backs as more midfielders, if you like, you did see Granit Xhaka slot into the left side slightly as more of a defender, allowing, at the time it was Nathan Niles or it was Kieran Tierney to really sort of bomb forward, if you like. He kind of slotted back into that position. But I mean, it's not good. He's not a defender. I think he likes to think he can be at times, and he's trying to help the squad. But for me, mate, he shouldn't have been in that position. You've got to kind of ask, why was Luiz not there potentially? But either way, it doesn't matter where he was on the pitch. No footballer should have made that error. Knock it out to Rose Ed, knock it anywhere, just not on the opposition. And that's exactly what it did wrong there, mate.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then, of course, towards the end of the game, we had a couple of chances. Well, I say towards the end, it was sort of the last 5 minutes. The second half was a bore, It was like Burnley were the better team in that second half. Burnley looked like they wanted it more. Burnley looked more dangerous. And then towards sort of the last 5 minutes, of course, we created a few chances. Nicolas Pepe, most notably, with two very good chances, scuffs his shot on this first one. And then, of course, the second one, it initially got given as a red card and a penalty. Then that got overturned through VAR. Of course, again, Nicolas Pepe with another opportunity. Two handball shouts in the space of like 10 seconds. The second one for me, it was handball all day long, and it was a penalty.
Yeah.
How what did you make of that one? Why do you think we wasn't given a penalty?
Mate, that's what winds me. I know we can't. I don't want to blame VAR for not winning the game. We should have put our chances away, but it just goes to show how unfortunate Arsenal Football Club are when it comes to these decisions. It's almost like the ones that we want VAR to check, they don't go near it, and the ones that we're like, oh, don't look at that one, they look at it. They're like, no, that's Arsenal, axe it off. And it just winds me up. I mean, if you don't laugh, you cry. But that second one, when it hit the guy's arm, I mean, crikey, he's like this. He's not in a natural position. Fair play. If he gets booted at 100 miles an hour and he's got his hands in his pocket, fine. But that's the most obvious handball I've seen this season, and it wasn't given. It wasn't even I think they looked at it and just brushed it away. But to our knowledge, when we're watching the game, it didn't feel like they looked at it at all. Absolute joke, mate. What about you? Obviously, you're defending me on that one. You think it was definitely a penalty, mate?
Yeah, 100%. You look at some of the other things that have happened this season, and the penalties that have been given for a lot less than that, and you got to say it's a penalty all day long according to the rule book. Yeah, definitely. Why it was overturned, no idea. Haven't got a clue. But then again, I think the people who are running the VAR and the referees to a certain point as well are just incompetent. They just haven't got a clue, and in my opinion, to fix this VAR thing, I think VAR could be good for football, because there's certain things that VAR does get right, for example, if there is a foul during the build up to a goal, then obviously it gets brought back and it's not a goal. You can check things 2, 3 times, 4 times. They play the replays on repeat and stuff like that. So you can get a definite decision without sort of thinking, oh, did he get that right? Didn't he get that right? So it can be good for football, but they need to sort out whoever's in charge of this.
Yeah.
I think they need to sort that out. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, no, they definitely need to sort it out. I am actually for VAR, but I just feel that we need to find a way of actually making it work. It's like in business, you won't just roll an idea out and hope for the best. You'll trial it, and it's almost like they thought, right, that'll do, and it gets to the first day of the season, they're like, right, we haven't really tested it, but what's the worst that could happen? And you look at the absolute dross that it is at the moment. It's just embarrassing. It's not just embarrassing for watching the criminal offences going against Arsenal and us not getting things. And I don't think there's an agenda. I just think it's bad management of the VAR situation. But for the English game, it's embarrassing because there must be countries all around the world, like Germany, Italy, looking at how bad our referees are. And it doesn't reflect well on us, mate.
Yeah,
So
well,
good.
I can give you an example as well of VAR being a bit ropey in other countries as well. In particular, I was watching highlights of the Borussia Dortmund versus Sevilla in the Champions League, and so Haaland had his goal disallowed,
Yeah,
and
I saw
then
that.
of course it got brought back for a penalty, which happened like a minute earlier. Like, why are they bringing it back? It's completely different phase of play. They should have been checking that when
Yeah,
it happened. But instead, they've waited like 2 minutes before going, oh, actually, that was a penalty about 2 minutes ago. It
yeah,
makes no sense. And then, of course, he took the penalty. The goalkeeper wasn't on his line and made him retake the penalty because he missed it anyway. And he ended up scoring in the end and got his 20th goal in 14 Champions League appearances, which is absolutely mad for a 19-year-old. He's going to be some player, isn't he?
He's going to be unbelievable. It's not just the fact that he's so good; it's his dominance as well. Like he's so strong and physical, but he's so quick on his feet as well. Like usually you get someone like that, they're off balance, but he's still a little bit like a Messi in terms of the ball at his feet. He's incredible, and his finishing. I mean, he bullies players, and it's amazing. But mate, kind of going back quickly to the VAR thing, what are your thoughts on what they've said this week in terms of bringing the sound on so we can actually hear what they're saying? Would you be for that or would you be against it?
You'd have to be for it because
Yeah.
I think us as fans sitting and watching at home, like when they're doing the checks and that, we don't always know that they're going on. And even when they have done the checks, it's a potentially controversial decision. We sit there and we get frustrated sometimes because we're like, how have they come to that decision? At least if we're listening into what they're saying, we can then sort of sit there and say, well, they come to that decision because of such and such reason, whether it be right or whether it be wrong. But we want to know as fans, for example, like that Nicolas Pepe incident, why was that not a penalty? I'd love to get a bit of audio from someone in the VAR room making that decision as to why that was not a penalty.
Yeah.
Because I don't know to this day. I really don't.
Yeah, because it works so well with the NFL. Like they've used it for years now. American football, it's on point, but it's almost like we just can't get it right. I guess we've only just really rolled it out. We've not had it out there for long, have we? So it's one of those where it is going to be trial and error, I guess, but they do need to fix it. I do think we need to be a bit more involved. We need to hear what's going on. They need more professionals in there, rather than referees just sticking up for other referees. So, but mate, we could do a whole bloody show on this, couldn't we?
Next time we'll have to sort it out. We'll just talk about VAR.
Yeah, that's it.
You're right. We could sit here for hours talking about VAR, referees, you name it. Yeah. The only thing that we probably, wouldn't really touch on too much, and I think it works really, really well, is goal line technology. I think goal line technology is absolutely spot on. you can't go wrong with that. But in terms of VAR, mate, you're right. We could do a whole show on this, but we ain't got time for that. Of course, it is an Arsenal Olympiacos match preview. So now that we've touched on the poor, crap performance of the weekend, Arsenal take on Olympiacos, big game, probably our biggest game of the season so far. I would certainly say so anyway. And what do you expect to happen in this one, Tom? Bearing in mind, you know, that we just drew against Burnley. It was a disappointing performance. Do you think we'll see much of the same, or do you think they'll actually come out with a point to prove and try and rectify what happened last season? Because, of course, we went out to them last season, didn't we?
Yeah. No, I think we'll be on it. I mean, we somehow seem to be on it when it comes to these cup competitions. The one thing I don't want to see is a nervous Arsenal, where we're a little bit too scared to put ourselves out there. Because let's have it right. This is all we've got to play for now. So any mistake, anything that happens, anything that goes wrong, we're really going to be feeling it. I guess the fact we haven't got any fans there, that's a massive, massive difference, because they're a massive, massive fan base, and they're quite dominant. They're very hostile. I've watched them many, many times. Not been there, obviously, but I've seen it on the TV. So we have got that in our favour. But it's a couple of stats, mate, that are quite scary. In fact, I'm sure you've got this and you'll go through it. I'll go through it on my show tomorrow as well. So guys, check that out too. But I mean, we've played them 10 times and we've only managed to beat them 5. And there's not been one draw either. So I think there'll be goals. There'll be a winner. But what side it's going to go, nobody knows.
Yeah, no, I agree. And let's put it this way. They're a dangerous side, Olympiacos. Or they can be a dangerous side anyway. And I've took a look at some of their player stats this season. I've got them here, and we're going to talk about these players if you know a little bit about them. Based off of this season, for example, we'll start with this guy, El Arabi. He's played 22 games in the Super League in Greece. He scored 18 goals and created 1 assist. He's played 7 matches in the Champions League, including your qualifying rounds. Scored 1 goal. Europa League matches, 2 games, 1 goal. And total of 31 matches, 20 goals and 1 assist. Now, that ain't a bad return. And the guy knocked us out last season as well. Do you worry about El Arabi?
I don't think we should, because we're Arsenal Football Club, but you just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, they call him over there. They call him, I think it's the King of Qatar, because that's where he came from in terms of that league. The guy, you can't knock him. I think he's 34 years old, but hearing what the fans are saying, that's not something that gets in the way. So yeah, he's number 11. That's certainly someone that I'll be keeping my eyes on. We've got to keep him quiet. I mean, the majority of their goals, as you just put up there, has come from him. So we just got to keep him quiet, and we should be all right, mate. But he is definitely a threat.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully he goes missing throughout these 2 legs. Hopefully we can keep our fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, mate.
Of course, everybody knows this guy. French international, played for Marseille and Lyon, didn't he? At some point. Mathieu Valbuena. Again, this season played 18 matches in the Greek Super League. Scored 1 goal, created 5 assists. Champions League, 5 matches, 1 goal, 0 assists. Europa League, 2 matches, 0 goals, 0 assists. A total of 25 matches, 2 goals and 5 assists, which you would probably argue isn't that great, but the guy is 36 years old, and he's still got a pass in him, and he's a very, very good technical player. He's another player we certainly need to watch out for. What do you make of Mathieu Valbuena?
I'll be honest, mate, I don't know an awful lot about him, but what I've heard, he's got a cracking foot on him. So in terms of free kicks and everything like that, he's the one that tends to step up and take it. So Yeah, but I'll tell you that's another interesting one. While we're talking about set piece, I'm sure is this one that you're going to run through in terms of how weak they are at the moment with that. Have
I
you
didn't
heard
know.
about that?
No, you're enlightening me here. Go on, go for it.
Nice. Another one that's quite interesting. So I think they've only leaked about 12 goals in the league this season. They've scored off the top of my head, mate, about 61. So it's unbelievable. But I guess a Farmers League is a different league to, the Europa or the Premier League or anything like that. But I think 10 of their goals have come from set pieces against them, that is. So if we're going to score, that's going to be their weak spot. So that's something that we need to maybe focus on.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, that's interesting. We tend not to concede from set pieces either, so that's going to be an interesting one as well. And
What
to
you
be
tend
fair,
to
we haven't really conceded an awful lot of goals this season either. So it's
yeah,
going to be an interesting matchup, certainly. But yeah, I didn't know that. You've just you kind of enlightened me a little bit on that. So yeah, definitely that's something that will probably be worth looking at. 100%.
Yeah. The only thing is, mate, is that apparently Arsenal we've scored the least set pieces in the Premier League. So let's hope we can check that one.
Fat chances of that one then.
Yeah.
But there you go. And then I've got stats of this player as well. He's on loan from PSV. Bruma. He's a winger, or he's predominantly a striker, but they play him sort of on the wing. He's very fast, quick, strong guy. He's played 13 matches, scored 4 goals, 5 assists in the Greek League, 2 matches in the Champions League, no goals, no assists, and the same as well for the Europa League, which is a total of 17 matches, 4 goals and 5 assists, which again, it's not a bad return, and he looks like a player, again, that we need to really keep our eye on, because obviously when we play with the wing backs like Kieran Tierney, probably not Hector Bellerin, but more Cedric, they like to push up high and could leave a lot of space in behind. That's certainly an area that they'll probably look to exploit. And yeah, do you know anything about Bruma and the danger that he possesses?
I wish I did, mate. I wish I did. Not an awful lot, to be fair, mate. But those stats, they're not too bad, are they? So I think, listen, mate, I think we need to, we need to think about this. And remember, we're Arsenal Football Club. I appreciate results haven't really been on our side, but look, this is our chance now to really turn this season around. I know that's near impossible, but, Olympiacos, we need to be beating these guys. What I want to see is a comfortable win tomorrow night. I don't just want to see settling for a 1-0 or a 1-1 or whatever. I want to see a comfortable win by 2 clear goals at least, and then I'll be happy. Because what that means, mate, we've got confidence going into the Spurs game. And then also when it comes to the second leg, we haven't got as much pressure on us, because we all know how much we crumble with that pressure, mate.
No, I agree with you 100%. I kind of think of, for example, Manchester United versus Real Sociedad. In the last 32, the one just gone. Man United absolutely slapped them across the park in the first leg, and then they could just chill in the second leg. It didn't matter that they drew 0-0, because they're just like, well, we're through anyway. And I want to see that from Arsenal as well. I want to see us put 1.5 feet into the next round of this competition. And as you just said there, we've got a big game at the weekend as well. We might be 10th in the league. We might not be able to qualify for Champions League, or maybe not even Europa League. But Tottenham Hotspur is always a massive, massive game. And before we jump into the Spurs game and just touch on it a little bit, what's your prediction for tomorrow?
Oh, do you know what? My head's all over the place for that. Do you want the score? Is that what you're looking for, mate? Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of score, I'm going to go with a 3-1 Arsenal tomorrow.
Okay. That would be a good score, actually. Considering that's 3 away goals. I think if we get 3 away goals, surely we're going through to the next round. Surely we can't just give it away like we did last time. I can't even remember. I don't know if you know, mate, but I can't remember what the score was last season in the first leg and the second leg.
Yeah, so it was so when we went to their place last season, we beat them 1-0. And then obviously when they came back to ours, they beat us 2-1. But quite an embarrassing stat that we've got as well at the moment is Olympiacos. I think they've played, let's see, they've only lost twice in the last 11 games against English clubs. And do you want to guess who the two are that they lost to? That was us. Both times at the Emirates. So we need to change that, mate. We need to change that, and we will. I'm very confident, mate. I know I smile a lot, and I try and be confident. You know, heads in the clouds every now and again. But I do think we'll win tomorrow, mate. We'll put the critics to rest.
Okay. I'm going to go with 2-0 to Arsenal. I just feel like the players are going to be up for it. They've got to be up for it. I think they're going to have a little bit of last season on their mind. They're going to know that, you know, what a 1-0 victory or something very tight going into the second leg could cause them issues. I just hope that we set up correctly. I hope that we go out there and from minute one just attack. And hello, we're joined
South Africa with our power outages. I mean, 2021 and you still have power outages in a country where you have no electricity. Absolutely ridiculous. Sorry about that, guys.
That's all good, mate. It's all good. We was just talking about the Olympiacos game. Of course, we touched a little bit on the Burnley game. I've already done a full video with African Gooner, so make sure you go and check that out. It was the match reaction and player ratings to the Burnley game. But in regards to Olympiacos, mate, how do you see the game tomorrow going, and what's your score prediction?
Yeah, I think we already touched on this, I think, a little bit, Brandon. And Tom, it's nice to meet you. I guess you'll start to understand my feelings on this team. And I mean, how much this team has obviously disappointed us. And, you know, historically, you know, there's nothing much to expect tomorrow but, you know, a weird game, maybe a 1-1, I would say, or even a loss, because we know we can lose against any team in the world. I think I'm just fearful of us starting slow tomorrow and then, you know, the game just being gone within the first 30 minutes. I mean, I think if they score one goal and they score the first goal, it puts us on the back foot. But yeah, I mean, a little bit of hope. I think we need to start Odegaard. I mean, I think Thomas Partey coming straight into the team just makes us so much better from the start. I think Xhaka needs to be dropped completely. I don't want to see that guy at all. Not even on the bench. Just don't even bring him, honestly. There's no point really for me. Tierney to start, which is going to be excellent. I think he's going to really dominate for us and drive us. And I really like this new balance we have in the team, because everything used to go through our left, and now Saka has moved to the right wing. Now we have a little bit more of a balance in the team where we can drive from both sides. And if Cedric plays behind Saka, I think we have a really strong team going forward. We cut out all our mistakes, aka David Luiz or Xhaka being out of the team, and I think we're good, really, because no one else is going to make a suicide mistake, I think, and we can't risk any type of small mistake from whoever it is, El Neni. I mean, whoever plays needs to make sure they're playing at 110%. So that's my feelings on tomorrow. We saw Juventus going out last night. So, small teams always love to beat the that are underdogs, love to beat the bigger teams, right? So it's all on us tomorrow to really go and dominate the game and set ourselves up for the next tie. How many times, Tom and Brandon, do we go into these games saying these things, and then we're like, after the first leg, we're like, why? We missed chances. We didn't play at 110%. It wasn't like a final, and then we find ourselves to do everything in the second leg. I don't want that tomorrow. I don't want any risks. I want a 2 or 3-0 win. Let's kick them out of it and be calm about this weekend against Spurs. Even if we lose, it's not that big of a game for me, right? Tomorrow is everything.
Definitely. Okay. Listen, good to finally meet you, Lee. How you doing, mate? You're right over there.
I'm doing good. Lots of work today. It was a crazy day. Yeah, I mean, hopefully Arsenal can can continue to give positive vibes. I mean, Brandon and I spoke after Burnley, and it was quite disappointing, to be honest, especially after Benfica, revived with some hope, and then just same old culprits. And I've seen a lot of your videos, and I know that you I wouldn't say you're a Xhaka fan, but I mean, you don't hate him as much as I do. I absolutely hate the guy, man. Absolutely hate him. I don't even hide it. He's absolute shit. And, I've played soccer at a certain level, right? I'm not saying I've played it at a professional level, but I've played it at definitely a semi-professional level, or way, way higher than a lot of these people who play Sunday League football. And for me, I mean, if you consider him a good player, you don't know what the game is. And you've never played the game yourself at a certain level, because there's no way you think he's a good player if you've played yourself. It's just not possible for me.
I think I was saying to Brandon actually before you came on. I said the thing about when you do the fan cams, it's the heat of the moment. You're living in the game still. You haven't had time to really properly watch it back. And what I try and do is always try and play devil's advocate and look at other potential mistakes. So I was looking at, okay, could Mario have played a better pass? Because Leno could have played a better pass. But yeah, I think a lot of it did come down to Xhaka. I mean, crikey, the guy, what was he doing? It wasn't.
Let me say this, I totally hear you. As someone who's driving the questions, you want to have both hats on and be balanced. But with someone like Xhaka, who has done it 8 times, as we know statistically now, there is no playing devil's advocate, right? You look stupid playing devil's advocate because the guy has made the mistake 8 times on separate occasions. So there's no defending the guy. He's just shit, man. And he has too many flaws and too many mistakes in him. And this league is just not. I mean, it's too good for him. He just can't handle it. So he might be a decent player, might be a decent guy. I have nothing against him personally, but in terms of football, when someone is repeatedly shoved down your throat every single week, and you don't like the guy, and he makes mistakes, but he keeps getting played, you're gonna start hating the guy. It's nothing to do with the captain's armband. It's nothing to do with any of that. It's purely on his footballing talent. He doesn't have any for me.
Yeah, and
strong points.
Sorry,
I said strong points there, buddy.
Yeah, man, I just wanted to make it clear that if you ever came with a Xhaka agenda against me, you ain't winning.
And kind of after the Burnley performance, of course, we sort of touched on it in a different video. And African Gooner, you said that players like Granit Xhaka are serial killers. They just make mistake after mistake.
100%.
And it just
in the soccer world, they're called serial killers, and they just have a lifetime sentence in jail. And we don't want any players like that in our club. And they can rot other clubs.
So in terms of Olympiacos, obviously me and Tom have sort of run through it. Tom's saying 3-1 Arsenal. He's quite confident that
3-1, Tom. You're setting yourself up for a heartbreak, man.
I think we need to put a little wager on this, mate. I'm confident ahead of tomorrow's game.
Oh, yeah? I mean, I'm confident that we won't lose, but I'm not confident we'll win 3-1. I mean, I could see a 1-1 for sure.
We need to show up. This is
I know we need to, but I was telling Brandon, we always need to show up. I mean, Europa League final, you need to show up. It's the damn Europa League final. You didn't show up. League Cup final against Man City. You didn't show up. And a lot of times we don't show up in really big moments. We just choose when we want to show up. And that's not a sign of a good team. A good team shows up regardless.
Yeah, well, hopefully tomorrow's our day, mate. We'll see.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, we just got to cling on to the hope. Of course, I want to go right back to the very start of the show as well. Because, of course, African Gooner, you're a fan who lives abroad.
Yeah.
In terms of Arsenal, of course, they released a new kit again today. What do you make of that?
Honestly, didn't pay much attention to it. It looks nice, but yeah, I mean, really, I don't really care about it, to be honest. I only care about what's going on the pitch, right? And yes, there's always this argument about buying merchandise, and I think more so for international fans, it's harder for us not to buy, merchandise, because that's really all we have to show that we're Arsenal fans. We don't live in the UK where we get to go to games and stuff. So for us, really, merchandise is very important. And I mean, yeah, I'm always gonna buy one of the jerseys, but I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna go buy that new training gear unless we were to win the Europa League. You know, you'd see me go buy if we were to win the Europa League, I will buy every single piece of merchandise on the damn store for this season. You know, that's pretty much it. I think as Arsenal fans, we just want a team to win, man. And if our team is winning, we'll buy all the merchandise. I have no questions about that. But I mean, if we're not doing well on the pitch, you know, it's not cool to be coming out with a lot of this stuff. But I also think that, you know, Adidas is doing a really great job on coming out with all these really cool merchandise. And I think it's not more so Arsenal. I think it's more so Adidas just being really smart in terms of their marketing and just coming up with more products to sell. I think they realize that a lot of Arsenal fans have a good brand affinity with Adidas, and I think that's the same with Nike. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember this jersey with a Nike. I mean, just because it's Nike, more people want to buy it. So that's the same thing with Adidas. It's just a really powerful brand.
There you go. So of course we've touched on Olympiacos and spoke about that, and I want to touch on the Tottenham game. North London derby is always a massive game between Arsenal and Tottenham. And of course, it's sandwiched in between this Europa League. Now, of course, in terms of competition, the Europa League is more important. It's do or die for Arsenal now. You know, it is literally Europa League or bust. But we have got Tottenham at the weekend, and it's always a big game for Arsenal fans. Always want to win that game. How do you see the weekend's game going against Tottenham? Do you think it depends on the result that we get in the Europa League?
100%. This is Arsenal. We're not, as we said, we're very reactionary. It's not only the fan base, I think it's the team as well, right? To be honest, I think if we lose against Olympiacos, I think we lose against Spurs, because I think our season is over. And I think everyone just down tools, and I think the players also realize and kind of give up, saying that the season is over. We're not going to achieve anything, and let's just be there for the sake of being there. I'm not sure how Tom feels, but that's how I feel. I feel like, that's how our team is. They're not going to lose against Olympiacos and have a reaction against Tottenham, and then beat Olympiacos the week after that. I just don't see that happening. So, I mean, it's always important because obviously we want to beat Spurs, and I think we still want to finish above them. We haven't finished above them in the last few seasons, so we want to have that day put back into our calendars, right, where we finish above Spurs. But I mean, it's not that important for me. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I mean, if we lose, I'm over the league. I'm over the league, and that's it for me. If we lose, it's like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, I don't expect us to finish in the top half of the table, to be honest. I think we're still gonna slip up, regardless if we beat Spurs. I think we'll slip up somewhere. It's in our DNA, right? So that's how I feel, to be honest.
Okay.
Would love to win it.
So how do you feel on that, mate?
Yeah, so mate, this is the one this is the big one. I'll wait. The first day I see the lineups coming out, I think, right, when are we going to be playing Spurs? So for me, I treat these games as a bloody cup final. I know I shouldn't, and the league is out of our hands now. But regardless of where we are or where Spurs are, this is a game we need to be rubber stamping, and we need to be winning it. Especially the fact that we lost it at their place as well. I think you're right there, Lee, in terms of, it all depends on the game tomorrow night. Look, if we beat Olympiacos well and comfortably, I think that would give us a little bit more ammunition and confidence to go into the Spurs match. But it is difficult to look ahead to that, because we need to put all of our focus on tomorrow night's game, because that is the big one. That's the one that we can't afford to be knocked out of. But look, let's win tomorrow night. In terms of the Spurs game, I'm confident, but it always scares me because you just don't know what Arsenal's going to turn up in the league. I want us to go from the get-go. I don't want us to start slow. They'll be up for it. They know what it means to the fans. And if Arsenal want to win us back on side, they need to win tomorrow night. They need to beat Spurs as well, mate.
I totally hear that, but just, I don't see us winning tomorrow the 3-1 as you're hoping, and that's a dream for me. 3-1 tomorrow. I mean, 3-0 is a dream, but even 3-1, I'd bite your hand off right now for that.
Do you think we'll lose tomorrow night then? Do you honestly think we'll lose tomorrow night?
I don't know what to expect from tomorrow, but my feeling is that we won't get the result that we need, the two goal buffer that we need. Hence, this weekend against Spurs, I feel like we need to save the tank. Like, I don't want us to go and get injuries and Thomas Partey injured and this happened and Tierney injured, and you go into that second leg of Olympiacos kind of limping in their wounded animal with, you know, one leg, and then they just kill us off.
From what you're saying, it sounds like it's an impossible task for us to win tomorrow night.
No, I think it's impossible for us to win the next 3 games. There's no way I think we're winning 3 out of 3. So between the 3, there's going to be one mess up. And for me, I don't mind the mess up being against Spurs, you know, even though that is such an important game for me as well. I mean, just for me, it's about Europa League, man. I mean, not having Europe next season is a huge repercussion on our summer transfer window. We know the excuses they're going to make. You know, we can't afford the players we want. You know, the type of players that we want are not even on the market. You know, they come up with a lot of excuses, and I don't want those excuses, right? And I also want us to be quite competitive and be able to offer Europa League minimum. You know, I mean, Leicester, Wolves, all these teams are competing with us, and Brandon and I were chatting. I mean, all the players that we would be getting, these teams are going to be getting as well. I mean, Leicester has a really, really good team. I mean, most of the team is better than ours and could be playing in our starting 11. So, you know, we shouldn't take that for granted. It's really important to be in Europe next season. And I'm 25 years old. I've never seen Arsenal out of Europe. So, yeah, I don't want that to be the case.
Yeah, no, fingers crossed your way, man. I think, 100%. If you've got to pick one or the other, beating Spurs or going through to the next round of Europa League, 100%, we're all going to bite everyone's arm off that Europa League. That is what all our eggs are in a basket for. And if it means rested players against Spurs, 100%. But I can't see why we can't win tomorrow night. It's not impossible. I think the way you're sounding at the moment is it's an impossible task. I think we need to back the players. I know that they've let us down time and time again, but trust me, they're going to be up for this game. And, you know, a draw tomorrow night is still a good result for us, but we need more. This is Arsenal Football Club. We're against Olympiacos. Out of 11 English sides they've played over the years, they've only beaten us. Well, they've only won twice. For our sake, it's us they've beaten, which is embarrassing. The two teams are us, but we need to deliver, and it's not an impossible task. It depends what Arsenal football team turns up, but we need to back our men, and we need to see a decent score tomorrow. We need to see a win, and that will give us the confidence against Spurs, and that will give us the confidence in the second leg as well, mate.
That's a lot of hope, Tom. I just want to say, you know, growing up, my dad always told me, like, when you want to understand something, patterns and just, you know, forecasting, you look at history, and history always repeats itself, right? I mean, if you're a cheater, you're always going to be a cheater. If you're a liar, you're always going to be a liar. I mean, you know, that's just usually that's how it tends to go, right? So with Arsenal, I apply the same logic, right? I mean, that's why for tomorrow, for me, like, of course, I mean, I know we can win 3-0. We can win 4-5-0. It's not out of our scope, you know. Arsenal is that type of team, but we're also a type of team to not have any shots on target for like 80 minutes and then a stupid mistake and they score at the death and it's 1-0 and we're all coming back sitting here saying, wow, can't believe we had so much confidence going into this game. Like, we're crap. You know, we need to replace these players. It's the manager, and you know how the rest of the story goes. So it's not impossible to win tomorrow. I'm protecting my heart, myself. I'm protecting myself because I've learned and I've gotten burnt way too many times to know now as a fan that I may as well just be neutral, have lower expectations. If Arsenal win and blow Olympiacos out of the water, excellent, amazing. I love you, Arsenal. That's all I want, really. I mean, you know, that's what I want. So, but I'd rather go into the game being a bit, you know, calmer, like having less expectations. But if we do get disappointed, I'm like, it doesn't hurt as much, you know?
Exactly.
I've got a couple of questions for both of you guys. First one is, Tom said it just a minute ago. Should we put a wager on it? Now, I don't know if you're up for that, guys. We'll put a wager on it. But would you guys be able to return for the match reaction, depending on when I do it and when what time I do it? And then depending on who wins the wager and who loses, obviously, you'll have to do your forfeit on camera in front of everyone. Can we come up with something that we're all willing to do, depending on, you know, what we all think?
It's like again, this is no, I'll be up for for doing something. But look, at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, and that's for us
100%.
to win. And look, this is the good thing about these channels, is that everyone can have they can voice their opinions. And the good thing about us as Arsenal fans, we respect all of our opinions. You know, I respect the fact you're more, you know, you think with your head. I think more of my heart, and it gets me in trouble, you know. So look, I'm up for a wager. I'm up for that. I'll let you run with that one, Brandon.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. I apply the same feelings. I mean, just that one on Tom. I mean, I've shared a little anecdote, a little stories with Brandon, and I may as well share with you as well. I mean, I used to think with my heart as well, 100%. And I've never missed an Arsenal game since I was 7 years old, probably even, you know, smaller than that. And that's like, you know, missing exams, missing dates. I mean, you know, not flying on a specific day because Arsenal's playing on that day. I mean, it goes as far to that, really. And this includes preseason. I've never missed a preseason game either. So any game period, you know. And when you have that much dedication, that's all in the heart. That's not with my mind. That's all in my heart doing that, right? And that heart has been pumping and it's been broken to so many pieces. Yeah, 100%. I mean, now I'm older, you know, I'm wiser. Now I start to think with my head, you know, if someone tells, like, you know, challenges me and says, you know, Arsenal shit, I'm not going to say Arsenal is not shit. Whereas when I was 15, 16 years old and, you know, with my friends, I would never tolerate anyone saying anything disrespectful against Arsenal. If I'm standing there, that's not happening, right? You'd have to be doing that when I'm not around. So now I'm less likely to protect and defend and use my heart. I try to use my head more. And it served me well, to be honest. I cry less about Arsenal. So
yeah.
But yeah, Brandon, I'm cool for a wager. So just choose one. Nothing to do with the Spurs t-shirt though, because I won't agree to that. I mean, you can't pay me enough to wear a shirt.
You won't get me wearing one of them either.
Clear.
Yeah.
If I'm not gonna go buy one either, too.
Let's have a little think about it.
Tom's going 3-1. I'm going 2-0 to Arsenal, and you're going for 1-1. Did you say?
Oh wait, no. Well, now that I've heard both of yours with wins, oh man, I can't believe you're going for 2-0, Brandon. I didn't expect that from you. You're going for 2-0. We just drew against Burnley. We just had a conversation a few days ago. Yeah, I'm gonna go for 1-1. I'm gonna be safe. I don't think we have enough in the tank. We got lucky to get past Benfica, guys. I mean, I was shocked when we scored that goal. I was so happy, but I just didn't think it was gonna happen. I thought we were gonna get sucked out and we were gonna lose. And I don't see us learning. You know, we never learn. I see us still starting slow. We're gonna start slow tomorrow, and we're gonna get a wake up call. And hopefully that wake up call is early enough for us to be able to like manage the game and then get something out of it.
Okay.
1-1.
2-0. Granit Xhaka Matas. You know,
listen, if Granit Xhaka scores tomorrow, you know, like I want him to score. I know he's gonna. I don't want him to play. I know he is gonna play. I mean, we all know that, unfortunately. And if he scores, I mean, you know, it forgives one of the 8 goals. So when we talk about Xhaka, I'll stop talking about 8 and I'll reduce it to 7. That's what he will get from me.
So yeah, there you go. It's I think we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you both for coming on. I appreciate it. I know you've had issues with your pal African Gooner. But
yeah, sorry about that again.
There,
for those of you watching, at least you know now that, you know, South Africa, you know, best country in Africa, but still, I mean, we still have a long way to go here, man, in terms of, you know, improving internet speeds as well and things like that. So yeah, it's always a challenge.
Okay. Any last points you wanted to make? I'll start with Tom.
Not really, to be fair. I think we covered a lot of it. I just want to see an Arsenal team tomorrow night that really go out there and prove us, you know, put a stamp on the shirt, put a bit of respect back on the badge. If we see that, I'll be happy.
100%. Even if we lose, I agree. I'd also be happy, even if we lose. That's all you ask as a fan, right? Put 110%. I mean, you know, break a leg. You know, not literally, but break a leg for the team and for your club and for the badge and bleed Arsenal. And that's what every fan really does. And especially us who come and chat about Arsenal for hours and hours, and we don't get paid for this. This is pure out of love and passion, you know. So yeah, really hoping that you're right, and that tomorrow, this superhero Arsenal team that you have in your head shows up and we win 3-1, and it'll be great for us, I think, to celebrate. I think also fans are waiting. We're waiting to celebrate something. Benfica was a good celebration, but I think we want more. We want a little bit of a taste of more. Arteta gave us a taste of a trophy, and now that's in the back of our mind, that we know we're capable of winning trophies. We're a big team, even if we don't show it. I mean, we can be a big team when we want to be. So hoping that's the case tomorrow. And I don't know, Tom, about your feelings on. You may have touched it before I jumped on, but Pepe playing tomorrow, Smith Rowe. I don't know what your feelings are on that. I mean, I'll give you my feelings. I think Pepe shouldn't start. He missed the open sitter. That's just pathetic, to be honest. For me, 72 million, the guy can't get a shot on target. And it's not only this game, right? Brendan and I have spoken about it. He's made multiple attempts on target, and he doesn't even get it on target. He tries to finesse it in the corners, and it's not even on target. So it's not a once-off. The guy can't hit the target most of the time, to be honest, and that's really disappointing for me. So I don't think he should start tomorrow. I think Saka can't be displaced from that right wing. I mean, he just won Player of the Month, yesterday. You can't move the guy. That left wing, I think, is up for grabs. And then I also think that Smith Rowe shouldn't come back in the team, to be honest. I think keep Odegaard. I think Odegaard is better than Smith Rowe, and I mean, I don't like to admit it because Smith Rowe's a academy kid, but I think Odegaard has a better all-round game for me than Smith Rowe.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'll do my rundown of my team tomorrow, guys.
Okay.
So, going to jump over. Anyone that's watching, jump over to the League Gunner YouTube channel. I'll be doing match day vibes from 6 o'clock tomorrow. So yeah, jump on that, get involved, and yeah, I'll run for my team then, guys.
We'll be looking up.
Is there anything else you guys want to plug or anything like that? Anywhere that you can tell these guys where they can find you?
Yeah, just the Insta guys. Log on to.
Tom, you don't have to quit. What's going on? You're behind the times, man. I've never met anyone. I mean, to be honest, when I started this, I had to create a Twitter for the first time as well. I mean, I never had one and never wanted to have one. But I mean, once I got introduced to this football Twitter world, it was over, man. It's just so much content and so much craziness happening in there. So think about it. Twitter account.
I need to get into Twitter. I'm not on that, so I need to do that. I'm a bit old school, so I'll get on at some point.
Sounds good. I mean, yeah, you can find me as well on Twitter at La African Gooner, and yeah, you can find me here on Brandon FC TV.
Exactly. So there we go. There we go, guys. We're going to wrap it up there. Hopefully, we can get a win tomorrow. Hopefully, we can also get a win on Saturday as well, because it's a big game against Spurs. But the most important game of our season is, of course, tomorrow, our second leg in that. We need to go far in this competition. We need to try and salvage something out of this poor season. Big up to everybody who's been watching and everybody in the comment section as well. Thank you, Tom, and thank you, African Gooner, for coming on. I appreciate it as always. And
it's a pleasure.
We'll see you again soon, guys. Peace.